Hi, welcome to another video on the My Fragrance Journey essay, right? Um, just while looking through my phone, I bumped into a list on ifragranceofficial.com about the best 10 fragrance releases of 2024, right? So very interesting list. Some fragrances I agree and don't agree on based on what I have sampled, so yeah, and I'll mention those. So I'm gonna start right at the bottom of this list with a so these are based on different categories. So different categories like best for gym, best for work, best for young men, etc., etc. Right? Best for work, best niche. Yeah, you catch the drift, right? So right at the bottom of the list, kicking off the list, the best bang for your buck, right? So it's Calvin Klein CK1 Essence, right? So Calvin Klein CK1 is widely regarded as one of the best budget-friendly scents for men worldwide. Yeah, Calvin Kleins are always affordable and they are good-smelling fragrances. Some not that strong, but most of the time they are good for what you pay for, and some are quite surprisingly very good, like almost niche level type of scents, right? So this one, in terms of pros and cons, they say it punches above its price range. Obviously, it's the best bang for buck. And then it's a unique aromatic accord. So it's unique. So it's something special there, and but it comes at a very good price. And then obviously, the quality of the ingredients not that great is a con. And they say it's basic, right? But I think it's sort of uh clashes with the verdict on the other side that says it's a unique aromatic accord. But hey, this is what the author of this article has concluded, right? So now at number 9 on this list is the best from an independent brand, best indie. Um so best indie independent brands like me. If I start a fragrance brand, I'll probably be considered an indie house in a way, right? So best indie is DS and Durga Gateau Blackout, right? It's the first time I've ever heard about this brand. So this fragrance combines notes of black cherry, pine, fire, and vanilla, and the fragrance is a warm take on a gourmand, offering a bit of nature feel alongside dark fruits and sweetness, right? And it's true indie fashion, it's truly unique creation that can't be copied, right? So if you're an indie brand, the more wild and out there and unique you are, the better, right? So from a pros and cons perspective, the verdict here is that nothing like it. It's unique and it's high quality ingredients. So independent houses always go for the best ingredients, and usually that goes with a very high price, right? So in terms of cons, you won't find it discounted because it's an independent brand. If I start a brand, I'm not going to say a fragrance brand, I'm not going to be sharing it with the discounters for them to sort of dumb down my brand in a way. So difficult to find across the globe. It's the first time I heard of this brand. So yeah, it goes to show that it's not run of the mill, you can find anywhere type of fragrance, right? And then for best niche, at number 8, Parfums de Mali Althair, right? So one of those fragrances that I announced beginning of the year, and I was quite excited based on the note and the fragrance breakdown that I saw there. So here they say it's a masterfully blended scent which combines bourbon and praline with cinnamon and cardamom for a picturesque masculine fragrance. So bourbon, praline and cinnamon. So it's sweet, it's boozy, vanilla-y, my kind of fragrance, right? So in terms of pros and cons, what they say about Altair. Pros, organically sweet and savory, right? And then one of the best niche scents from this year. So definitely up there in terms of 2024 releases from the niche brands, right? And then the cons, it doesn't come cheap. It's expensive for some, right? expensive when it comes to fragrances is relative, right? So, for example, 5,000, $100, $200, 250, $300. It's nothing for some people, but for some it's a lot, right? So 10,000 for something like this, 10,000 rands. It's you don't buy a fragrance for that much. Depends. So it depends on who you are, where you are, in life, life circumstances. But yeah, definitely one of those that if you are interested in, or you're curious, just go and sample and know what it feels like, what it smells like. And then the cons is that they say it's similar to other Parfums de Made fragrances. I don't think I agree with that, but this is the verdict that the author has come out, right? Next on the list, another recent release from a brand and a line of fragrances that we've been waiting for a long time for them to release something in this line. So, and it's from Dior Sauvage. So this one is Dior Sauvage of Forte, right? So they say it sort of dumps down the original DNA, boosting the aromatic and fresher notes, which allows for it to remain under the radar if enough sprays are used. So depending, if you don't go too hard, it was fine. So they say it's similar to the Elixir Flanker, which is a much dense aromatic, which I have in my collection. Forte is still masculine and beautifully blended scent, which with high quality features, making it a standout scent for office wear. So this is the best for work, right? So the best for work is Dior, Sauvage, or Forte. And then from a pros and cons perspective, what do they say, right? So obviously the pros, it's inoffensive for office use and close encounters. It will get you compliments, and then the cons, you won't find it discounted at this early stage, right? So you won't find it cheap. You have to go retail, right? So may smell like other fragrances. That's the downside of Forte, right? But yeah, all in all, an exciting release from Dior, Christian Dior, right? And then the best for young men, Rabanne, formerly known as Paco Rabanne, so but now it's just the house is Rabanne. Phantom Intense, right? So Phantom Intense, it's a brand that I've always liked, a fragrance that I've always liked, very playful, very youthful, but very high quality for a designer fragrance, right? So from pros and cons, what they say about the Phantom Intense. Obviously, pros, it's youthful. So yeah, if you're old, you want to smell young, this is for you. If you're young and you want to smell young, this is for you. Not overly sweet, which allows it to work well in most situations. So yeah, it strikes a nice balance. The Phantoms, always strike that fine balance between sweet and not too sweet, to make sure that it doesn't overpower and be overwhelming. So they've got a classy edge to them, a very mature edge to them, but while remaining youthful, I would say, right? So the cons, maybe too much to be worn in the office, right? Because it's an intense version. If you overspray, it may be a bit loud, right? So um and the other con is, if you're older, they say stay away from this, right? Yeah, it's a very interesting comment there, right? And then the next one, best for the gym, right? So YSLY for Men Elixir, right? So I've got a recent experience with this fragrance, sampling this fragrance in one of the retail stores, and I must say I was not very impressed, and even the retail assistant was not impressed, as she didn't even point it out to me to say, oh, there's this new one. She showed me other things that I was very familiar with, but when I told her I haven't smelled this, she didn't comment until I sort of I sampled it myself, and I concluded that, man, there's nothing special about this. It's an elixir. Usually elixirs so far that I've smelled and that I have in my collection, there's something special about it, but this one was a big disappointment, right? So They say the DNA has been cut down to just 4 ingredients, emphasizing the blend of lavender and oud. And then the latter tends to be a bit of an abrasive ingredient, although the oud in Y elixir utilize woody properties, stripping it away. The animalistic side, geranium uh, and frankincense bind to their counterparts to level it out the grain, creating a blue scent that is inoffensive but will do great as masking any sweat from the gym. Yeah, so it didn't smell special, I must say. Very disappointingly so, because it's one of those fragrances I was excited to get my hands on, right? But it will have to go right to the back of the queue for now, right? So from a pros and cons perspective, they say very different from other YDNAs. I agree with that. It's very different. I couldn't recognize it. That's why I was a bit taken off, right? Best aromatic release from this year, I don't know. I can't comment on that. And then the cons: weak performance, length, and not for those looking for a complex DNA. Yeah, very simplistic and uninspiring, I must say. So that's best for the gem, YSL for Men Elixir, right? And then the best liqueur based by Kilian Old Fashioned, recently featured on the channel. When it was released, the Old Fashioned tends to use bourbon and simple syrup with a garnish of maraschino cherries for a bold, sweet, and manly cocktail. The fragrance follows the same cues without the artificial sweetness that the drink features. Its wheat note is particularly interesting, giving the fragrance a bit of an alcoholic accord. So the wheat note is the one that brings through that alcoholic, boozy vibe, right? So pros and cons: great story to share alongside the scent. Reproduces the actual cocktail very well. So yeah, very realistic. Difficult to find discounted, obviously, as a niche brand recently released. You're not gonna find it cheaper, at some discount store somewhere around your neighborhood. And then the bottle design is the same as apple brandy on ice, something like that, and my favorite, angel share. So the bottle design is getting a bit, yeah. So the author here is saying, it's a bit, yeah, it looks like everything else. So yeah, well, it's getting boring, right? Moving on to the next one. The best blue, Montblanc Legends. Very surprising, because it's an affordable, not so special type of fragrance brand, you would say, designer brand. So very interesting that they have it as the best blue here. I would have expected something else, something niche, something high-end designer, but here goes. So they say widely regarded as one of the best cheapies, so it's a cheapie, in the men's fragrance space. Their blue flanker builds on the beloved DNA, making it that much more approachable. The ingredient list isn't remarkable or groundbreaking, but it's a solid selection of ingredients paired together create a blue masterclass, right? This is a terrific scent for those looking for a get deeper into fragrance and experience blue scents beyond the body wash they use as kits. So yeah, useful entry-level blue scent, very high quality smelling, etc, etc. So highly approachable is the con, soon to be found in discounted prices. So yeah, not going to be long until it's found in discount retailers across the world and in your neighborhood. So that's the pro, right? The bottle design is another con here. It's basic, like the most of the line they use more or less the same shape, and then the sillage could be more robust. So yeah, it doesn't really leave much of a scent trail in a way, right? But it makes sense for the price. It's a cheapie. Mont Blancs are usually cheapies, right? And now to a brand that I love a lot, right? So Jean-Paul Gaultier Scandal for Homme Absolu is the best woody, right? So So Absolute Flanker uses just 3 notes to convey its message, producing a woody and slightly gourmand fragrance built around a unique fruit and seasonal nutty favorite, right? The Mirabelle plum adds a robust fruitiness to the woody concoction, with chestnut partaking with a bit of raw nutty alcohol. Sandalwood sees the fragrance of adding a clean woody scent with almost blue properties, right? So Jean-Paul Gaultier always pushes out those mass-pleasing, beautiful fragrances that you can wear every day and smell good and feel wonderful every day. So the pros here, each ingredient is easily identified because it's not a lot, so it's very simple, but well blended for you to pick up, you know, the notes there. And the performance is always great on Jean-Paul Gaultier, so a tick there. And then the cons, difficult to find globally. Bottle leaves much to be desired. Well, the bottle design has to, you know, mirror the line of Scandal, Jean-Paul Gaultier Scandal. So I don't really, well, I can't really say much on that con. It's not really a con. It's just, yeah, we're nitpicking now, right? And then the top of the pops, the best of the best overall fragrance on this list is Emporio Armani Stronger With You Tobacco. And I must say, I agree, one of the best smelling fragrances I've put my nose on this year. I think early this year it was released, right? So it is a tobacco scent. And yeah, the Emporio Armani Stronger range, man, it's just, yeah, it's untouchable, right? So it utilized both cooking and baking spices sourced from pink pepper, black pepper, cinnamon, and cardamom to produce a refreshing feel that offsets the heavy use of tobacco and vanilla. It is an outstanding masculine fragrance that can be found at counters all over the world, and is one of the best releases of 2024 thus far. And I do agree, I must say. I agree wholeheartedly. So from a pros and cons perspective, let's see how nitpicky they are. I'll start with the cons. Not available at discounters yet, obviously new. You don't want to find it anytime soon. And then one of the many flankers in the long line. I don't think that's a con, right? I don't think it's a con anyway. I think it's actually a good thing because this line, the Emporio Armani Stronger line, is a beast line, right? A beast line with flankers that just blow things up, right? And then the pros, unique take on tobacco. Well, the unique take on tobacco, I don't think I agree with that. It's just one of the best unique takes on tobacco, I would say. And then high quality, for sure. For sure. This is a high quality scent. Yeah. So yeah, that's the list of the top 10 best releases for 2024, men's fragrances for 2024 so far. Not sure if this author is going to be releasing anything anytime soon. And by the way, this list can be found on ifragranceofficial.com. And yeah, with that said, please like, subscribe. Till next time, go out and get one of these fragrances to be, you know, up to date in terms of fragrances. You know, 1 or 2 or 3 of these from this list, you'll be set. You know, you'll be the best smelling guy in the room in 2024. With that said, please like, subscribe. Till next time, peace.